All right, well, my name is Kira Love and I am one of the creators of the Naked Health Challenge, and my absolute passion in life is cooking and helping parents build healthy food cultures within the home. So obviously it starts with us, whether you have children yet or not, and it will filter down from there. So I have my amazing sous chef sidekick, Madeline. She's my 9-year-old daughter and she loves to help in the kitchen. And she actually has taught me a new trick this week in the kitchen that she learnt. So she's going to be teaching you guys that in a little bit. So let's get started. One of the tips that I would say to begin with is I like to have a clean, organized kitchen. And it took me many years to learn how to do this well. But having all of your ingredients ready and cleaning up after yourself is a really good way to stay organized and ensure that you don't have loads of cleaning up at the end. I absolutely hate cleaning up, don't I? Cranky mummy when the house is a mess. So hopefully you have all of your ingredients organized right now. And I've chosen a recipe that is super adaptable no matter what your family's needs, whether you are single and cooking for yourself. I'm an independent mama, so you know, half the time I might only be cooking for myself, or it might be myself and my partner, or I might have a family of 6 to feed. So this is something that you can vary just by using common sense and buying enough vegetables and protein to cater to your family's needs. The protein is completely interchangeable. You could use seafood, you could use red meat, you can use tofu, you could use beans, lentils, whatever you like, really. And the sauce is really adaptable too. And of course, the vegetables, hopefully you bought ones that you absolutely love. I made some recommendations on the recipe, which we will post at the end as well. So should we get started? You ready to go? Have you got any kitchen tips you want to share with everyone? No, not yet? All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with our protein. So we're using chicken. You might have some tofu. I'm going to guess that if you're using tofu, then you already know how you love to cook it. I personally love to pan fry tofu in thin slices, and the curry powder that we're going to use in the sauce, you could sprinkle that on the tofu in the exact same way that we're going to do the chicken. Get it nice and crispy. I'm going to be cooking chicken, so just apply the same rules. So I'm just going to cook one chicken breast, and you do whatever you need according to who you want to feed tonight. This is going to feed 2 people. So I would recommend that with your protein, you feed each person in your family a palm-sized amount of protein, unless you have been specifically told to have more because you have particularly active needs that you need to refuel from. So chicken breast can be quite large, so I find it's too much for one serve. It might be perfect for a man that's been, you know, very active all day, but for women generally, half a chicken breast in how we're going to do it is probably enough. So what I'd like to do, and this is probably the trickiest part of the whole exercise. By the way, here's another tip, is I have my meat chopping boards, okay? So I keep the meat ones separate. You can do this on the plate if you want to. But what we're going to do is take a sharp knife and we're going to slice the chicken breast through the center, okay, long ways. So be very careful of fingers and hands, go slow, and you want to find the thickest part and start there. And then just go as slow as you need to ensure that no one gets hurt in the making of this cooking demo until we get all the way through. And by the way, this is a technique that is in several of the recipes. So you'll see the beautiful chicken and mango salad recipe that is in the 6-week challenge guide, which is really beautiful when we're coming into summer. I'm just going to rinse off my hands now, so you might want to do the same. Okay, and then you want to take either some Glad wrap. I mean, you don't have to, you could do this on the board, but I like to be nice and tidy. I'm going to use my baking paper here. And I'm going to take one of those slices, one at a time. And I'm just going to fold that between the paper. Just let me know in the chat if there's any comments that come up as well. And you could use a rolling pin, you can use a meat mallet. I just use my fist. You don't need a lot of force for this. We don't want to pulverize the chicken. We just want to make sure that we get one even thin layer. The thinner it is, the quicker it will cook, which means that we can keep it nice and juicy and not have to cook it too long. I usually use, I'm going to be honest, my favorite cut of meat for this recipe is actually chicken thighs, but you generally have to either go to the butcher to ask to have them skin on, because I like to make the skin crispy, or you need to know your way around a knife to remove the bone because usually they don't come with skin on in the supermarket, and I wanted to make it really easy for you guys to source. So if you prefer the juiciness of thigh fillet like me, absolutely do that and try it with the skin on. It's really, really yummy when you get that nice and crisp. So with chicken breast, you just need to take more care with cooking, otherwise it's just dry and boring, I find. So you're just going to gently pummel, get the day's frustrations out. Do you want to have, what about you? How was your day? You want to have a pummel as well? And you'll find that one end will be fatter than the other, so you want to concentrate your energy there. It doesn't have to be perfect, okay? We're not aiming for perfection. All right, let's open it up. Nearly there, maybe a little bit more on this side. More. So one of the pieces always tends to be a little bit thicker just because of the shape of the chicken breast. So it'll just require a little bit more work on that piece at the end. Where it's really plump. Perfect. All right. How gross is raw chicken, by the way? It's really ugly. All right. So, and you can actually already buy like the schnitzel steaks, but I don't know. I'm always a little bit doubtful that it's going to be a nice cut. So this one's mostly already the same size, but I'll give it a quick bash out. All right, so next step, and that's okay. Hopefully you've got a helper with you so that you can be moving on to the next steps. If not, the recipe is super simple, so you'll be able to play along. If I do get way too ahead of you, Kimberly's keeping an eye on the chat and you can let me know. Let me just wash my hands again. All right, so I'm just going to let you know interchangeable things as we go, because I want you to be flexible, imaginative cooks in the kitchen. This is the coconut oil that I personally like to use. It's the Cocoa Earth One MCT Pure because it doesn't have a coconut flavor, and coconut oil is magic, but the last thing I want is coconut flavor if I'm making Mexican, for example, because the two don't go together. So this one is flavorless, but it has a high cooking, what do they call that? I forget the word that I'm looking for. So you just want to do a small drizzle and then just rub that into both sides. That's going to prevent it from sticking when we get to cooking it, okay? So you never put, or rarely do you put the oil, if you're cooking protein, in the pan, high smoke point. That's what I was looking for, because it will smoke, it will burn, and that turns it into a carcinogenic, right? So it's not healthy for your body. When it's on the protein, that tends to not happen. So, and then you're not using too much as well. And then we're going to season it well. So do you want to give it a really, really good season with salt? I like to use the Murray River pink salt crystals. Himalayan salt is beautiful, but the salt crystals have a better texture than the Himalayan, I find. It can actually really add to the dish and add a really beautiful crunch. I like to go really hard on the salt and pepper. You can use cracked pepper if you like. I like to use the white powder with this. Now, here's an option that I'm just thinking of now is, or when I was thinking of that tofu, let me wash my hands here, touching the chicken. You can actually go in if you want with some of the if you have a spice powder instead of paste, you can sprinkle a little bit of that on for flavor too if you like. Okay, that's optional, you don't need to. Now, with the curry powder and paste that I recommend you got for the sauce, you can use any of your favorites. It can have a Thai twist, it can have an Indian vibe. One that because we're making satay, but again, I wanted to make it interchangeable for you guys. This herby spice satay spice mix is really yummy, especially if you're grilling tofu. That's what I'm going to use tonight, but you absolutely can just use the normal Indian, I forget the brand, but the Indian spice mix that everyone has is what I would usually use otherwise. So, darling, I might get you, because I don't want to ruin my nails with the turmeric, to give that a little sprinkle over the top, and I'll do the pepper. Good girl. And then the other one. And then do you want to use your hand and mush it all in and get it all nice and even? Which you don't need to do if you don't have the curry powder, but we put a bit of that on, so. Good girl. And the other one. And then let's turn that over and repeat the process with the seasoning. Lots of salt. This is really good with fish as well. Salmon, which is how I do my salmon. It's how I do steak.
A few people asking, Kira, they find it fascinating to put the oil on the meat straight away rather than in the pan. Would you do the same if you were just cooking vegetables in the pan? How would you do that?
I typically, yeah. So what I will do, because I like to lightly cook my veggies, is I will put all of the broccoli and everything in, and I drizzle the oil, which I like to use olive oil usually. It depends on what I'm making. I will drizzle it over the broccoli instead of into the pan. Now, I have really good non-stick pans. The better the quality the pan, the better the outcome. And for me, it's an investment. I know I'd rather buy one pan than a new one every year. So that will change things, especially if there was skin on this chicken, for example. Sometimes you do need that better quality pan so it doesn't stick. That's plenty, thanks, darling. So yeah, I do. If you've got a good non-stick pan, you don't actually even need the oil. You're actually using it for flavor. So the longer you can withhold even having to add it, the healthier that oil is going to be in your body, because the less heat is going to be denaturing. It's beautiful natural qualities that are healthy for us. So raw olive oil is much healthier than cooked. So ultimately you would only add it at the end once it's on your plate. But I do love to heat it sometimes with chili and different things. You can actually, if you have a good pan, stir fry your veggies. I actually add a tablespoon of water, put my broccoli in, bring it to heat, then I put my olive oil. That's how I do it.
And then now it's pan recommendation.
Pan recommendation. So all of my pans, and I'm not French, so excuse me if I totally butcher this, but Le Creuset is the ones that I have. The fry pans, they are about $200, but the quality of your food and how long they last if you treat them well. And this is how you don't treat them well, right? And my kids have had to learn, and my partner have had to learn, you don't need high heat, and that's how we ruin our food. Often that's the mistake. If food doesn't turn out the way you wanted it to, it's usually actually you just didn't get the heat right, and too much heat too quickly destroys the food as well as your pan. So it's just learning to be more patient, let it come up to temperature at a medium heat is usually all you need, but giving it long enough for it to have that stable heat all the way through. So on that note, let's turn our heat on now to medium. Now you can use any fry pan. I like the aesthetics of the grill marks on the chicken for this dish. So that's what we're using. But you use whatever pan you have is completely fine. So let's give our pans a moment on medium heat to get some temperature into them. And while that's happening, actually, while we do that, do you want to show people your special capsicum trick? Because we're going to start preparing veggies soon.
So first, cut off the stem.
So these knives, by the way, we get from the knife shop, and they're really handy for kids. They actually have a step down for younger children who are first learning to use knives. And then once they get the hang of that, you can get these ones.
Flip it upside down, and in all the dents in between, just cut it.
Oh.
So cut the stem off first and then slice down in the grooves
And
and
then
then peel it open. And show everyone the flower.
Oh, I love that. That's
Good
so
job.
good.
them off. And then if you don't like the seeds,
Perfect. Good job. You can keep preparing that capsicum.
Everyone's saying, go Maddie, we love it.
You still need a little bit more heat. So whilst you're waiting for the pan to come up to heat, I want you to grab a small pot, and this is what we're going to do our sauce in. And this is the cruise set as well, but you can use just a stainless steel one. The benefit of these pots and pans is they go from stove top to oven. So you can brown meats and casseroles, put them in the oven. You can brown your slow roasted lamb leg, then put it in the oven. When I do salmon, because I like mine cooked all the way through, but I like a crispy skin, I get the crispy skin, I turn it over, I put it in the oven because it won't cook through without burning properly on the stovetop. Same with a steak that's too thick or a thick chicken breast. You brown it and you finish it in the oven. So you need to have the right pans to be able to do that. Okay, let me grab my tongs. Sorry, darling, I didn't get them out. I'm just gonna push you out of the way. Okay, so hopefully we hear a nice sizzle, which is what you want. Perfect. All right, let's get this chicken grossness out of the way. So now we're going to go on to our sauce. While that's cooking, I'm going to get you to help me with the sauce first. So I like to use this brand's coconut cream, AM's coconut, because, well, last time I checked, it has no additives, no preservative. It's got BPA-free lining. A lot of coconut creams have emulsifiers and different ingredients to get the creaminess. But real coconut cream will be separated in the pan. So if I didn't shake this, you'd have the cream on top and the water down below. And some recipes call for just scooping the cream, the real cream, off the top. For this one, we need all of it together, so you can give it a shake. I don't want to break my nail. Away. All right, I'll get you to pour that in. So 270 mils of coconut cream, about a cup. This sauce recipe is so flexible, so I'm not even going to measure, but if you feel nervous, then get your tablespoon out now. And just keep an eye on your chicken that it doesn't burn, that your heat isn't up too high. All right, so about a tablespoon of tamari sauce. That's your saltiness, okay? So we're not going to add salt to this because we're getting it from the tamari. Sorry, keep going. Keep going. Okay, stop. Do you want to get a dessert spoon out? I'm going to pop that in. I'm going to do equal of maple syrup, okay? So that's our sweet. So we need the sweet to balance the salt. You can use rice malt syrup, you can use honey, you can use coconut sugar, you can use palm sugar. I want you to do 3 heaped ones of peanut butter. You can do crunchy or you can do smooth. And you could use almond butter instead if you want to. Nearly ready to turn that. And then 1 to 2 teaspoons of your curry powder, depending on how much flavour you like from yours. If you're not really into a lot of spice, then you might even just put half a teaspoon in. And when I say spice, I'm not talking about heat. I'm just talking about spice. They're different. Okay, I think, let me know if I've missed anything. Half the juice of lime, we're going to add that in at the end. All right, do you want to give that a stir for me? And then we're going to gently warm that through. You don't want it to boil because it can thicken too much, okay? All right, my chicken is ready to turn, so see how you go with yours. Kids absolutely love poke bowls because they can do it with you. They can get in the kitchen. They're more willing to try things if you're in there helping with the preparation with them alongside you. You can talk about the rainbow and let's make sure we have every colour of the rainbow. What colour are we missing? And, you know, encourage them to try every colour of the rainbow. We have a rule in our house that, you know, I choose my battles. They don't always have to eat everything. I stick to the things I know they love, but 3 spoons to try it, to fall in love with it, right? So they need to keep consistently trying things, new flavors, new textures. They won't love new textures and flavors on the first go. Generally, they need 10 to 20 goes. So don't give up on them and get them, you know, incorporate them in the process because they're more curious and they have more courage and, you know, because they're a part of it, they feel like they want to try it because they're proud of themselves. All right, so we're gently just going to heat this through.
How much curry powder did you say?
You can go anywhere from half a teaspoon up to 2 teaspoons. You can use like even a Mama San Thai curry paste for this. Like really, it's up to you. You might want to cook it out for a minute if you're using a curry paste, but it'll still taste good either way. Green curry paste, you generally don't cook first. You put it straight into the coconut cream. So any of your favorites. Okay, so are we, I just don't want to move too fast. They might be taking a little bit more time.
All these extra tips.
Okay.
The pro cooking tips. Loving it. And back to the pan, do you shop at an online shop? Or
You can definitely get it online. The consistency of the quality is incredible. They have lifetime warranties, most of their pans. I'm on the Gold Coast. They have a shop at Pacific Fair. Just know that it may become an obsession and you may need your own credit card simply for pots and pans. No, it's something that you collect slowly over time. So I'll show you my other favorites. And remember, I've collected these over time. I love this smaller one for like our eggs. We have also a flat one which we use for our pancakes. This is like the fried egg, scrambled egg, or single serve frittata pan. I like to keep my egg pan separate because I do find that cooking bacon and things consistently does take away some of the beautiful non-stick over time. And then I also have cast iron ones, which are epic for steak because you can really get the heat in and the crust on the steak if you're doing a really good quality steak. And then this beautiful pink one, I've got various sizes in different colours as well.
And Maddie, Steph has a question for Maddie. Was it 3 tablespoons of peanut butter?
Yes.
Awesome.
If you love peanut butter, go hard on it. If you don't, then you can go less on it. But 3 heaped dessert spoons, 3 tablespoons. Now, what you want to do is once it's warm, you want to taste it. And is it salty enough for you? Is it balanced, sweet enough for you? We're going to add the lime for the tart, okay? Sweet, salty tart at the end, just half a lime. I find if I add too much lime, it can kind of burn it's delicious, but it burns my tongue a little bit. You could put some fresh chopped red chili in this if you're a chili fan as well. I really love the chili flex through it, but I wanted to kind of keep it simple for you guys today. Now, if you're unsure about whether your chicken is cooked, then just take your knife and check the fattest part, because we're going to slice it up anyway. So mine needs a little bit longer. But we're nearly there. So we can get onto our veggies now. So Madeline, do you want to do, that's beautiful, do you want to do your yellow capsicum as well? depending on what kind of poke bowl I'm having, and depending on who I'm feeding, I might roast up some sweet potato. I wanted to show you some other things that I love to do. We love our edamame beans, which we get in the freezer section of Woolworths, and you just cook these in salted boiling water for a couple of minutes until they're floating and they're ready. If I'm feeding kids or men, I don't personally eat a lot of grains, but sometimes they need a bit more energy. So I am ashamed to say, not ashamed, but you know, we all do our little cheats. I love cooking from scratch. Ultimately, you would not eat anything out of plastic or packets, but I do get this organic brown rice from Woolworths, and sometimes I will heat this up with a little water. I don't personally use a microwave. It's a personal health preference for me, so I do it on the stove in my little pot with a little bit of water. What else do we have in our poke bowl sometimes? You can use any of your favorites. You love to do tuna, don't you? Yeah, and she loves to make that herself with some sushi ginger and some, what's that mayonnaise called?
Japanese.
Yeah, the Japanese mayonnaise. What is it? Kewpie mayonnaise. All right, that's nearly there. Beans. Yeah, you can definitely do beans, edamame beans. Yeah. Okay, so with the capsicum, you want to slice it up as thinly as possible. That's my preference anyway, because I hate chewing on really tough, you know, crunchy things. So I'm going to slice this as thinly as I can. I really love I think it's like the Chinese cabbage. It's a lot finer. That's probably my favorite cabbage to. Is it called Savoy cabbage? I think it's called. Yeah. But as I said, whatever your preference is. Okay, so just wait a second on the cucumber, I'll show you. So if you've got a kitchen helper, they can be helping you prep all your veggies now. We're just going to make one bowl, so that will be enough for us. All right, our chicken is done, so I'm going to take that off. Now, if you opted to have pineapple in your bowl, I thought it would be a fun flavour. You can either have it fresh, or you might want to just warm it through on your grill pan now, which I'm going to do. And just check your sauce as it's warming. All right, ours is done, so I'm going to bring it over and show you. Now, I'm going to apologise now for the colour of the sauce. I know it's not the prettiest colour, but we're going to jazz it up. We won't say what it looks like currently. It tastes amazing.
Was that the pineapple into the heat? I think that was a bit quiet for them to hear the pineapple.
Oh, okay. So you can either just, if you do have pineapple, you can either put it in fresh, or because it's winter, if you want to grill it and get some heat into it and get it nice and caramelized, you can pop it in the pan that had the chicken in it. All right, we're getting close now. Okay, so a few other things that I want to show you. Different ways to prepare your veggies. You can use a spiralizer. You could do some zucchini noodles. You can use the spiralizer for your carrots. The picture that was on the recipe, you can see the white spiralized vegetable. That's daikon radish. Makes really nice noodles, raw noodles. You can use a basic vegetable peeler. Let me just peel this. And you can make strips, which is what we're going to do with our cucumber. And then we're going to roll it up into ribbons to serve it. Okay, so see these beautiful ribbons? That's a great way to prepare your cucumbers for wraps. And we're gonna just make just something different, right? To make it look different, we're gonna make these little cucumber roses to serve, okay? So do you wanna do that? So once you get down to the seeds, you turn it and go the other way, okay? The other thing that you can use, which you get from the Asian grocer, is this little tool. I don't know what it's called, but it's got these little grooves on it, and that's what we're going to do for the carrot. Maybe I'll get you to do the carrot and I'll do the cucumber, I think. So this one's going to do strips, like little thin strips. Once you get through the first layer, it does these little thin strips, okay? So it's just different fun ways so it looks pretty, because we do eat with our eyes. It's not necessary, but it does make a difference if you enjoy the way food looks. And of course you can just cut your cucumber up. One of the ways that I love to do my cucumber that I wanted to show you guys is slice off the end, slice it through the center. You get a little spoon. Let me just get my pineapple off. That ball. Make sure you pull your pans off the heat. So yeah, another way I like to do my cucumber is slicing it in half. Running out of teaspoon. You get a teaspoon and you scoop out the center seeds. And then you just thinly slice it. So this is really nice when you make like a sushi bowl type of poke bowl. And then you have these little half moons, okay? And they look really pretty as well. Good job, babe. So we might start putting all our veggies in. So you can actually serve these veggies as you prepare them straight into your bowls, however many serves you're doing. And you can eat the leftover bits of carrot and things if you want to as you're going. What else do we need to do? That's pretty much it. So you wait up for a second. Yummy.
Maddie, they said, what's your favourite vegetable?
Capsicum.
Capsicum.
You eat them like apples sometimes, don't you?
Actually, big tomatoes.
Yum.
Tomatoes and capsicums. Used to catch her stealing them at the fruit and vegetable market when she was a baby. I'd turn around and she would just have a capsicum in her hand, eating it like an apple. Right, so it's nice to interchange the colours if you can in the bowl. So there we go. What else have we got? So bean sprouts are really delicious with this. And kids tend to like bean sprouts because they have an interesting texture in the mouth.
Maddie, there's another question for you. There's a little girl watching this called Emmy, and she wants to know, what's your favourite dish to cook?
Good question.
Probably, we have made sushi before, like our own rolls of sushi.
Sushi rolls, yum. And sushi bowls. I think I've seen you do
We
sushi
do a lot of
bowls
sushi
before.
bowls, don't we? They're so quick and easy. That's the one that you love to do with your tuna. Just a little bit smaller to fit the bowl.
Everyone's keeping up. They're all at the same space.
Very cool. What else have we got? Well, we've got our carrot. Could have even used bigger bowls. I might just cut these down. Just so it looks pretty. Okay, what have we got? We're going to do the avocado at the end. We've got a little bit of spinach here. more capsicum.
What time do you guys as a family usually eat dinner?
I love this question. So here's a tip, okay? And this is what works for us. So it's not a, something you have to do. We typically get home from school and often they have after school sports at their school. So usually we're home by 4:30, 4:45 at the latest, sometimes a bit earlier. And we get straight in the kitchen and cook together. If I can pre-prepare some of the things in the day, then I will. So I might marinate the meat that just needs to go into the oven or something like that. My girls get in the kitchen, they help me. We generally work as a team with it. And I like to be done and dusted by 5:30, the kitchen cleaned up if possible as well. And then everyone's straight into showers. Now, what that allows us is our food time to settle. And so you will wake up feeling so much brighter and more energized because you're not weighed down. Secondly, you have so much family time. It's time to connect, to talk, to hang out. Especially in the summer, it's really nice because you feel like you have this endless evening to, go out for an evening walk or whatever you might like to do if you live near the beach like we do. I just find everything feels less rushed and I love the relaxation and it's better for your health. So no matter what time we get home from school, like today we actually got home a lot earlier. We got home at 4:45 and we still got straight on to dinner. Because even if the kids get hungry, I generally don't. I might have a bit of dark chocolate maybe around 7 o'clock if I get, peckish for something sweet. But the girls, I can make them, their dinner has settled, so it'll be okay to have fruit on top of it because it's been long enough. But we get to make their favorite, fruit sorbet in the blender with 100% fruit. And so there's enough space and time. It's not rushed. Kitchen is clean. It's not hectic. It just feels so much more enjoyable. Dinner time is one of the best times for you to connect as a family. Children who sit and eat at the dinner table with their parents or solo parent like me at times, might have just dropped out. Children who do that have a higher IQ, they have a healthier sense of self, and they also have more gratitude and a brighter outlook on life. So there is a no TV zone when kids get home from school and when we're doing dinner. We may do it after dinner every now and then, but it doesn't make up the center point of our home. Okay, so where are we at now? I think we've done everything. So now we're going to go on and slice our chicken breast up, which I'm going to try and do without getting turmeric all over my nails. Turmeric and nails do not mix. Fake nails. Okay. Check what side it looks pretty on. And it should be nice and juicy still because of how we cooked it. Actually, what I forgot to say, which you can do while it's on the plate, but we can do this once we put it in the bowl anyway, squeeze over some lemon juice as soon as you take it off the heat, and that will keep it extra juicy. And citrus is actually a natural flavor enhancer. So it'll bring out the juiciness and the flavors in the chicken. Squeeze a bit of that over. Okay. Might be a little bit too big for the bowl, but we'll see how we go. Make sure we can see all our colours. Okay, let me show you where we're at. So we've got all of our beautiful veggies. We've got our rolls of cucumber, which look really cute. We've got our rainbow of colours happening there. Now we're going to do some avocado. Now, one thing you can do is actually just serve the avocado like that and serve the sauce inside the avocado if you like your sauce kept separate. We're going to scoop ours out. So I'm just slicing it into strips and then I'm going to use the spoon to get that out. Put that in the center. Okay, now herbs and crunchy things take things to the next level. If you can grow your own, perfect, because then you can just go grab a few sprigs and you're not constantly replenishing your kitchen supplies. You can just put the herbs in as a salad ingredient, or you can do a garnish on top. You might do some thinly sliced and curled up ribbons of spring onion. We're going to do a bit of chili for colour. Okay, so I'm just going to slice out a little bit because we're doing one serve. But if you slice your chili in half and use the same technique to scoop out the seeds and all the white bits where the heat is, so this will take all of the heat out generally with your little spoon, making a mess of it because I'm trying to go quick. And then I'm just going to slice really thin ribbons, about 2 centimetres long and about 1 millimetre thick. And that's going to be part of the garnish, but completely optional. Okay, so I've got coriander, I've got mint. You could add some toasted coconut, okay, which I just thought of as I was getting ingredients out. That makes a cute salad topper, but we're going to do toasted peanuts. So I'm just going to chop them up just roughly. And we're going to pop them into the salad, the little herb salad, okay? And we're going to garnish that on top. So we've got mint, got some chili, coriander, and our toasted nuts. Okay, and you can serve, generally I serve the sauce on the table with the family and everyone spoons over theirs because does make it look ugly, but it makes it taste delicious. So that's pretty much it. The one thing we didn't do was add our lime to our sauce. So just squeeze in half a lime just to balance out the flavors, give it a taste and make sure it has the balance that you personally like. Perfect. Okay, so I might get a little, maybe we'll use this to serve it on the side so we can get a photo and show what it looks like before. Put it all over the top. So we will take a photo of this so you can actually see what it looks like better than what the live is going to show you. But that is pretty much done. Maybe we'll put a lime wedge on there to make it look pretty as well. With a clean knife. There we go. That's our look. If I was making this one-on-one and not teaching at the same time, I reckon I'd have that done in 20 minutes max. You can have things pre-done. You can have the chicken ready to go. You can have it marinating in the spice mix if you want to. You can have all your veggies prepped on a Sunday and have different poke bowls for 2 or 3 days in a row and just simply grab the veggies that are already prepped. Pick vegetables that don't need prepping, you know, your cherry tomatoes and things like that, beans, things that are really quick and easy. Cook up loads of edamame beans. They're great for lunch boxes. Is there any other questions? Anything we've missed?
No, Romany's trying her satay sauce and she's in heaven. They've been tasting as they go. Everyone's like taste testing right now. Yum, 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 yummy.
You guys kept up. Well done.
So